Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are here with King's Cup Challenge. We did our practice matches. Now we're going to do the second round of this wave. And folks, this is a pretty cool event where you get to use different YouTubers' decks. And I'll show you my favorite replays from this entire challenge that I did this weekend. And folks, it was a lot of fun being able to use my fellow YouTubers' different decks. We saw some pretty cool ones from Nick and Knight. I saw some from Chief Pat and other famous Clash Royale players as well. So please enjoy the video. We're going to go into these highlights. Alright folks, so we're going to play now with the Sparky Masters deck, which was created by Ted and Atchin. So this is a pretty cool deck. I did like this one here. I thought it was pretty smooth, and it allowed you to play two different ways, right? You can either play with the P.E.K.K.A as your tank, or if you just wanted to throw down cheap troops, you can use the Spirit Goblins, actually the Goblin Gang, the Bats, the Miner with the E-Wiz as a combination, which we kind of did right here, right? So right away, what's cool about this challenge too is you can also go against players that have the same deck. So at that point, it kind of becomes, I believe, what's called the mirror challenge, right? I think where you both play the same deck and try to see who plays better. I could be wrong about that, folks, but as I recall, that's how the event was. So they dropped down the poison spell immediately right there in the lane, killing my troops. But we did enough chip damage there to make a difference. About 600-700 damage, so not too bad. Now we can push with our P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A push is one I'm very familiar with. As you guys know, I love the P.E.K.K.A. He's in my shirt. But for real, I use most of my decks with the P.E.K.K.A. It's one of my strongest cards. So being able to throw the Sparky behind it, it's pretty easy to follow through with. Then use that E-Wiz, since we've seen the Infernal Dragon come out, and we're not playing against the same deck. I said that earlier, so I was actually incorrect. So now we got to defend Sparky. They did a good job of shutting it down pretty quickly. However, we're able to get one shot in with Sparky, which is more than enough damage on that tower. Now we just got to worry about stopping the Infernal Dragon, because you know once the Infernal Dragon locks in without being defended, it could take out the tower. We'll use the Goblin Gang there just to distract and buy us a little bit more time to come up with a better defense against this Infernal Dragon. There goes the E-Wiz, so that will take care of it. We'll use our Miner on their Miner, which allows us to build up Elixir while the Miner chips away, and it gives us a mini tank to stack behind. So now we'll bring out the Bats to combat their Bats with the Goblin Gang, so that again we're going to take care of the Infernal Dragon. So we kind of repeated the same I guess process as we did earlier, which is not a bad thing, right? Because we did a good job of defending and we did some damage too. So this time around we bring in the Electro Wizard. He's going to chip away very well, and the poison spell will get rid of the tower. So we're looking mighty nice right now. Zap those remainders. We'll bring the E-Wiz again. So now we just defend. Since we already have stopped this push multiple times, we're in a very good space. So we can either just play it safe and defend, which was what we did right there. So good win. And we'll show you the next deck that we decided to use. Alright, so the next deck is Viva la Sparky. This deck was made by Surgical Goblin with my boy Clash with Ash. So you already know I like this deck without even playing it. But all jokes aside, this deck is pretty beast. One of the first Sparky decks in his return. I even think that Surge started using this deck before Sparky even became kind of the meta before. This was kind of tied into that whole bring Sparky back push, which was a great thing, right? Because at the end of the day, Sparky did get reworked, and she's decent. I'm not saying that. And that was a horrible rocket right there. I don't know what I was thinking. That's one card where I'm just really bad with using it. Only thing I've mastered on how to use the rocket is to take out Elixir Collector, but it's not one of my go-to cards. And up to recently, I've never used it. I think the only time I started using the rocket was when I wanted to use the Zap Bait deck with the rocket and the Infernal Tower and the Princess. Alright, so back to the show, folks. So they drop Elixir Collector right in the middle. I'm not even going to act on that. I'm going to save my Hog Rider. I'm going to build up my push. That way we can bring the Sparky into action. And then we got ourselves the Goblin Barrel, which we will keep as well to take out this Elixir Collector. And we'll bring in the Hog Rider now. So now we have a little tank in front of the Sparky. They drop down the Mega Knight. This could be Nick and Knight's deck. I remember him having a Mega Knight deck with the Elixir Collector and Night Witch. Which is a good deck also. I did use that myself. And I thought it was pretty cool. So Sparky bang locks in. Once Sparky gets locked in on that tower, there's going to be a tremendous amount of damage done. We'll bring in the Goblin Barrel to create a distraction. Either going to stop the Sparky or stop the Goblin Barrel. Either or, a lot of damage is done. So that's where Viva la Sparky becomes real dirty. Because you give the opponent really no choice, right? Because they either got to stop the Hog Rider or stop the Sparky or stop the Goblin Barrel. We used the Rocket there. Didn't really have any other card I can throw down. So I was kind of like a desperation rocket. I'm just happy that it did hit the opponent. Goblin Barrel again. Bring in the Hog Rider. We're going to be able to get some hits in. And we can defend on the bottom so that we don't get overrun by not paying attention. So 104. It's really not a lot. We just got to rotate the rocket back into the lineup. And we'll be able to win this match. And there you go. Now that one I did not miss, folks. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So nice deck right there. So we already saw 2 of the decks. I'm going to show you one more. All right, so the last deck we're going to use is the Tower Tornadoes. This is Clash with Cam with CM McGew. And we'll show you how this plays out. I thought this deck was nice. The setup was really good. I felt like defensively it did real good damage against the Sparky deck. As you see, we rocket it one shot, right? Balance on the trade-off, right? So now we use the 1 Elixir Skellies on the Miner. We even could have used that Tornado if we had it in hand to pull it towards the King's Tower. Now we'll push with the Hog Rider. We'll log just in case there's some Goblin Gangs, which we did right there. We'll bring in a Mega Minion from the back. And Mega Minion is going to be able to take out that E-Wiz. So not a bad push. We did a lot of damage. Archer Tower will finish that off. There we go. So here we go with the Ice Wizard. You guys already know Ice Wizard is my favorite legendary card. We'll drop them down. And we'll kind of just wait for the opponent, see what they're going to do. Because if we drop down the Tombstone, you know, it's just merely made for distractions. We rocket that right there. Boom. Ice Wizzy will splash damage those bats. We'll bring in the log again. Try to do a preemptive hit. Hog Riders put it in work. And again, we did a good push. So stop those Goblin Gangs. We're going to Tornado everything away. Be able to kill the gangs. And do some damage against that Miner. And now we'll just let the Miner hit away. Because you guys already know there's only a maximum amount of damage the Miner can do. Especially with nothing distracting my Archer Tower, we're going to be okay. So now we got to stop this P.E.K.K.A. This is where the Tombstone comes into play. And we'll follow up with the Mega Minion. That way we can slow it down and hit it with the combination of Ice Wizard. Good job with that poison spell. However, we're doing a really good job of slowing the situation down. We'll bring the Tornado in to pull everything back. And then we'll drop the Miner in there. No, actually, my apologies, the Tombstone to distract. We'll use the log to push everything away. And we got ourselves a brand new lane. We'll use the Hog Rider. They cannot defend. They dropped down a lot of elixir on their push. We're still going. Hog Rider's still ripping in there. So now we just got to defend. There goes their Hog Rider. I mean, their Miner. Sorry, folks. A little tired. I was binge watching Stranger Things last night. My apologies. And let me know in the comments if you guys are watching that show. Pretty random, right? And also let me know in the comments if you're enjoying the King's Cup Challenge. Alright, so they dropped the poison on our tower. We won that match. So this was a good deck. I did enjoy it. So good stuff right there. Clash with Cam and CM McGew. Alright, folks. So thanks for watching. As always, we appreciate the support. Slap that like button if you appreciate the content. And hit the subscribe for future updates for Clash Royale and other games on this channel. Alright, so peace out.